Hey everyone, I'm Matthew Cullen, video producer for the Mustang Morning News, and I edited the entire show you're about to watch. A lot has happened since our last show in December. We got a new president, millions of vaccines had been administered, and as a staff member of the Mustang Morning News, I got to be a part of all these conversations. Here's what I do as video producer. I get to oversee everyone's news packages as they go through the production process. I also get to play a huge role in the making of these shows by doing all the filming, editing, graphic design, and presentation with the help of my staff members. I get to use high-tech equipment and I get full creative control of my projects. If you're interested in joining the staff, you can scan this QR code or go to www.mustangmorningnews/join-the-staff. I hope you guys enjoy the show, and afterwards check out our Instagram for a blooper reel. Thanks.
The Mustang Morning News is a public forum for student expression. Students make all content decisions, and opinions do not necessarily represent those of the Manhattan Beach Unified School District.
Join us as we report on site at UCLA and Brazos Beach.
We talk about why you might want to close your SAT prep books.
And why current events are discussed everywhere but the classroom.
This is the Mustang Morning News.
Welcome back to the Mustang Morning News. I'm Molly Roskin.
And I'm Walker Watson.
Over the past year, we've faced issues surrounding coronavirus, racism, and the insurrection at the Capitol. Current events like these have teachers and students stressed out. So why aren't we talking about them more in our classes? Maya Hernandez finds out what's holding teachers back and what's at stake.
You're doing what you're supposed to be doing, which is preparing students for life, and they're living right now. So to put current events into your class should almost be a requirement.
85% of teachers we spoke with felt the same way and want to talk about current events in classrooms outside of social studies curriculum. But if so many teachers want to do it, what's holding them back?
I would love for our teachers, if they feel comfortable, to have this conversation to help kids unpack their feelings. But I can't force a teacher to teach beyond state standards, nor can I force them to bring in current events.
We have limited time to cover curriculum, but we have to remind ourselves of what are we trying to do and where are these kids going.
But the biggest concern teachers had was the fear of parent and community retribution. The school board policy on controversial topics gives guidance for social studies teachers and says that their curriculum needs to be age-appropriate and free of bias, but says nothing about these types of discussions in other courses. But there is no definition of controversial. One person's controversy is another person's fact. Conspiracy theorists and anti-vaxxers don't believe in science, and even climate change is considered controversial in some circles. So how can we have a conversation about real-life events when almost anything can be contentious?
Your job as a teacher isn't to tell students what to think. Your job as a teacher is to give them opportunities to think.
School board member Jen Fenton cited outside resources that teachers can use to support their efforts in talking about current events. But the district has no resources or training of their own currently in place. For the Mustang Morning News, this is Maya Hernandez.
In-person learning isn't back just yet, but the Costa quiz is.
"316 Black Lives Matter protesters were arrested on June 1st. On January 6th, the day of the insurrection at the Capitol, how many people were arrested? A. 56, B. 61, C. 112, or D. 213.
Think you know the answer? Submit it through the response box on our Instagram story now at Mustang Morning News.
Schools like Harvard, USC, and Yale have gone test optional as a result of the pandemic, And the UC board made a recent decision to stop the standardized testing requirement permanently. This has left many schools and universities to question just how effective multiple choice tests are. Molly Roskin speaks to a University of California board member on what exactly intelligence looks like.
With the world gone virtual, 65% of students are still taking part in distance learning. A survey in 2015 found that 64% of high school students admitted to cheating on a test at some point. And school from behind a screen opens up even more opportunities to cheat. But how important are these tests that we risk so much to do well on? While testing done right can be an effective way to boost student learning, multiple choice tests are often an ineffective teaching tool that are easier for students to cheat on and can increase test anxiety.
People are worried about the different answer choices that are going to be there rather than a test where they can just write whatever answer they think it is and not have to worry about being distracted by answers that might look right.
The University of California school system seems to agree. In May 2020, the UC board moved to drop the SAT and ACT from their admissions requirements. For the next 2 years, students will have the option, but will not be required, to submit standardized test scores as part of their applications. Then, for the following 2 years, those scores will not be used at all in admission.
Actually, not a lot of correlation between student success and performance on the SAT past the first year.
Standardized tests and stressful multiple-choice exams limit the definition of intelligence to your ability to memorize facts or how fast your response time is. Tests like these are decontextualized, emotionally bland, and have no real-life stakes.
So expand what we understand to be intelligence, which includes things like emotional intelligence, deliberation, patience, attention to detail, outside of this very rigid, timed, high-stakes, multiple-choice paradigm.
Teachers and professors should promote effective learning environments by using methods like project-based learning, critical thinking assignments, and class discussions. Successful testing should focus on the production of knowledge by the students, rather than passively recognizing facts. For the Mustang Morning News, this is Molly Roskin.
If you can't take the SAT or ACT to stand out on your college applications, what can you do? Take a look at what we do here at the Mustang Morning News.
About 60% of corporate CEOs across the globe agree that creativity is the most important leadership quality. Elective classes offer students opportunities to explore creativity through music, art, and film. But the Manhattan Beach Unified School District is debating switching middle schoolers from a 7 to 6 period day, cutting down electives. I find out what this means for students and teachers. In a recent MBUSD board meeting, a group of teachers and administrators representing the MBMS Bell Schedule Committee proposed to change the school schedule from a 7 to 6 period day. This committee believes that kids will benefit from the reforming of what they've described as a 23-year-old dated schedule, which fails to provide enough personalized education for students in our modern day.
But at the same time, since I've been at MBMS, we've had, and that's 21 years, we've had 7 periods. Over the past several years, kids' stress levels have increased significantly, and that's been something that we want to deal with. And we also want to find time in our day for intervention to help kids who need help, for an advisory period so that kids can connect with teachers better. And the research shows that having that built into the school day is beneficial for students.
While a less packed day may take away some stress from students, in order to create such a schedule, the committee has proposed eliminating the option for students to take both an elective and a foreign language without a 0 period. This change will likely cause MBMS's current elective programs to see a significant drop in enrollment, resulting in lower funding and, in some cases, their elimination.
right? So I don't want to lose the electives. I think that they're really beneficial and they benefit students in a lot of other ways. One of the things about middle school is that kids don't necessarily know what they're passionate about yet. They're still in the process of figuring it out. And that's one of the reasons why we like the elective wheel, is because it lets kids learn about things that they might not normally choose, but might find that they have an interest in or a passion in.
The benefits of following a passion in a school setting don't stop there, though. Studies, such as one performed by George Mason University, found that those who experience arts electives in middle school went on to earn significantly higher GPAs and were less likely to get suspended from school when compared to students who did not.
Again, having an interest, a passion to pursue, something, again, that you're looking forward to throughout your day, it's going to create a better sense of well-being. There's only so many kids that are going to be interested in those core classes, and that's great. It's awesome. There are kids that love science and love math. They love writing, but there are also a heck of a number of kids that don't. Getting them exposed to other things, just allows a little bit of diversity in their day, which again provides that change in attitude and then overall better mental health and well-being.
While a schedule is yet to be officially decided upon, votes from teachers and administrators in the coming months will determine whether or not the change is implemented next school year. With the Mustang Morning News, this is Walker Watson.
The insurrection showed us how racist attitudes are still present in our country, even in our own community. On our podcast series, Diverse Voices, we hear true stories from students of color at Mira, Costa and what life is like for them at our school. Scan this QR code to listen now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Who won today's Costa quiz? Find out now on our Instagram story. While you're there, see behind-the-scenes footage and bloopers from the making of this episode.
Up next, senior Michelle Rembert shows us how she conveys her real-life experiences through her artwork on an all-new Humans of Mira, Costa.
Interested in joining the Mustang Morning News? Scan this QR code to find out what we do and how you can become a staff member.
Thanks for watching, Mustangs. Have a great day.
My name's Michelle Rembert. I'm 17 years old and I'm a senior at Mira Costa. I've been painting and drawing since I was like a little kid. I picked it up from both my grandmothers. They were both painters. I did a collection of pieces about how my life and my identity was affected by the loss of my mother when I was a year old. I used the spotlight to kind of capture their joy in like their own little moment, but also foreshadowing like what was gonna happen. No matter how old I get, she'll still kind of be around and have this kind of like presence on me. I would say my art is unique, but I wouldn't say I have a specific style yet. I'm still kind of playing around with different mediums and styles. Personally, I think the process of me making the art is so draining. It's the feeling after getting something done that took like 20 hours to work on. And I think that feeling at the end is what makes me want to keep making stuff. I honestly can't think of anything else I would want to do with my life.